Hello, everybody. Welcome back to English for You for day 2 of our French food journey. I'm Kat.
And I'm Seb.
All right, we're feeling the French feeling.
Yes, j'ai faim.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
J'ai faim. Okay, I learned something new. Je t'aime French food. Okay.
Oui. So what did we learn about French food last lesson?
Well, we went to 2 different places around the northern part of France, which was Normandy and Brittany.
Yes, and Brittany.
Yeah.
And Brittany was that finger pointing at America. And they were famous for 2 things. Normandy was famous for Calvados, or Calvados, which is an apple brandy. Yes.
And Brittany was famous for crepes.
Crepes, one of France's most famous foods, one of its most well-known foods, made from eggs, milk, flour, and butter, and spread over a hot, thin surface. No, spread thin over a hot surface and flipped.
Yeah, the surface is not usually thin itself. But anyway.
Yes.
And
that's something I find very interesting about the US, the UK, and France is we all have different versions of pancakes, but each country has a different way of making them. So when I first had pancakes from an American, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is too small, too thick. Why is it in a pile?
Even I think Sweden, Germany, and Japan now also have their own versions of pancakes.
Pancakes, yes.
Like Japan has the big, fluffy rice cooker pancakes.
Which are really good, actually.
Souffle pancakes.
Especially when they're stuffed.
They're really good.
They are. You can get those in Sheeman, actually. Anyway, we're going off topic. We need to get back onto our article and back into France. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Reading.
A French food journey. Lyon. Quenelle de Brochet. Travel east, deep into the center of southern France, and we find ourselves in Lyon. This city is famous internationally for its wine, which is produced on the banks of the lazy Rhône River. However, ask any local what you should try here, and they'll tell you the same thing. Quenelle de Brochet. These creamy dumplings are made by combining butter, eggs, milk, and fish caught fresh from any of Lyon's many lakes. The best of the best can be found in the village of Nantua, where they are served with a delicious seafood sauce. Nice, Niçoise salad. Our journey reaches its end in Nice. This lovely Mediterranean city is known for its sunny beaches, but also one of France's best-known side dishes. A good Niçoise salad tastes like summer and is prepared with tomatoes, boiled eggs, olives, and salty local fish. For a long time, in its hometown of Nice, it was simply called salad by locals. This is because the French word niçois means from Nice.
Okay, so our article starts off today with a new place that we are going to right away. We're headed to Lyon. Yeah. So the town of Lyon, where they have Quenelle de Brochet. I hope I said that right.
Yes.
So, yeah, we travel east, deep into the center of southern France, and we find ourselves in Lyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where is Lyon? Lyon is
the capital of the Auvergne-Rhône Alps region.
Okay.
So it's a region, like they said, in the center of southern France. And it's known for having amazing food, like most places in France. But I guess here it's particularly known for a few different specialties. And it also has a really nice light festival every year called the Fête des Lumières.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually in Lyon quite recently, just a few months ago. Yes, it's beautiful because it's in between 2 mountain ranges on each side, and they grow grapes and wines. And actually, that's one thing that it's very famous for. It says in the article, this city is famous internationally for its wine, which is produced on the banks of the lazy Rhône River. Okay, so we're describing the Rhône River as lazy there because it's moving slowly and it's relaxed. We sometimes hear the lazy Mississippi River as well because it's a river that doesn't, jump around. It's slow and it's easygoing.
It's a slow-moving river. Probably mostly safe to swim in. Could you
Mostly.
say?
Yes. But anyway, it is famous for its wine. And when something is famous for something, it is well known for it. So lots of places around the world are famous for different things. France and Italy are obviously very famous for their wine and also cheese, like we were talking about in our last episode.
Yes.
Italy makes good cheese.
Oh, yes.
But in Taiwan, we could also say that Kending is famous for its beaches and its snorkeling. Lots of coral there. And Hong Kong is famous for its food and its tall buildings.
Yeah.
I love Hong Kongese food, Cantonese food.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, similar phrases to famous for are well known for or world famous for, when everyone in the world knows about a thing.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, we also have a vocab word there as well, internationally. Now, internationally is an adverb, and when something is done internationally, it means it is done in lots of different countries around the world. It's easy to see why internationally has this meaning if we look at two smaller parts inside it. Inter, which means between, and nation, which means country. So if something happens in lots of different countries, we can say that it happens internationally, or even with it happens globally. Globally, that's another good one. So our example sentence for internationally is, the World Cup is one of the world's biggest sports events, being watched by billions of people internationally.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So the World Cup is a very big deal every 4 years that it happens. And we're also talking about the Rhone River, or the Rhône, right?
The Rhône.
Rhône.
The Rhône.
Okay, as they say in French. It's a river that originates in the Alps in Switzerland, I believe, near Geneva. And it runs through Switzerland and into southern France, and then eventually empties out into the Mediterranean Sea. It's an important trading route, and a lot of barges, which are big like river ships, would go along it, especially in days past. And now it's also a source of hydroelectric power. They've made some dams to create electric power from the running of the water. And it also feeds into a lot of lakes in the region.
It's very beautiful. Very beautiful part of France.
Yeah, so... Yes. Yeah, you should go to Lyon not only for the food, but also for the region.
But if we're hungry in Lyon, what should we try?
Well, what it says here in the article is, however, ask any local what you should try here, and they'll tell you the same thing. Quenelle de brochette.
That's a mouthful.
Not quenelles de brochette. Okay?
Not quenelles de brochette.
No.
So what are quenelles de brochette? Well, the article says these creamy dumplings are made by combining butter, eggs, milk, and fish caught fresh from any of Lyon's many lakes. Okay, so these dumplings are creamy, and when something is creamy, normally it means it has lots of cream in it.
Yes.
Get it? We normally use this word to talk about sauces and drinks that have a thick texture, which means a kind of a mouthfeel, how you feel when you're eating them. Yep. So think of a nice pasta sauce or a scoop of ice cream on a big piece of chocolate cake. Those are kind of creamy flavors. Very nice.
Or milk tea.
Or milk tea is also quite creamy sometimes. Yes. In the West, soup is creamy. Not so much here in Taiwan. But
yeah, sometimes, but not always. Yeah.
Or at least in sunny England, they're very creamy. Anyway, we have another thing, though. We have dumplings. That's what the quenelles are. They are dumplings. And this is a word I really like because dumplings are a round, ball-shaped food that normally consists of a filling, which is the stuff you put inside, like meat, vegetables, or shrimp, wrapped in dough and cooked. So dumplings, as you know, are very popular in Asia, but you can also find them in other countries, such as Ireland, France, and Italy. Those are countries that all eat kinds of dumplings. Right.
America also has its own dumpling dishes, too.
What is your favorite kind of dumpling?
Well, if I have to pick a favorite, that's really difficult. I do like xiaolongbao. But I remember when I was growing up in the U.S., we had chicken and dumplings a lot, which is a slow cooker dish where you make dumplings out of biscuit dough or scone dough, I guess. And then you put them in the slow cooker with some soup base and a chicken. And you cook it for about 8 hours on low heat. And
and that makes it really tender and juicy.
Yes. And the dumplings are really nice and soft, but also bready. It's really good.
Okay. I have to try that. Okay, so we also have a vocab word there as well. Combine.
Yeah.
Verb. Combine is a verb, and when we combine two things together, we mix them together or use them together to make something new. So we saw that word mixture in the last episode, and to make a mixture, we combine things. In the article, the butter, eggs, milk, and fish are being cooked together to make quenelles. We also might combine sesame sauce, that's majiang, and noodles to make my favorite summer food, cold noodles. Liang mian. Yes. So what's the opposite of combine? Separate, which is to take two things apart, and you can also use that to mean get a divorce or 离婚. Yes, so when your marriage is over, you separate as well.
Right, although I think the separation happens before the divorce. The divorce is the legal part.
Okay. I have not been divorced yet. Hopefully I will not get divorced, but we'll see. Have to get married first. Anyway. Our example sentence for combine is to make the pancakes, Yara combined eggs, milk, and flour into a large bowl. Okay.
Well done, Queen of the Iron Islands.
Yes.
All right. So, going on with our article, the best of the best, that means like the best quenelle can be found in the village of Nantua, where they are served with a delicious seafood sauce.
Ooh, I love seafood.
Yes, I'm a vegetarian, but this also sounds good to me. I'd be keen for a vegetarian version of it.
Yes.
All right, so this word village is a noun that means basically a small town. So there's a lot of villages in France. There's a lot of villages in places around the world. Taiwan also has its own villages, like I think of Sumangus, the indigenous village, which it's usually characterized. Oh yeah, Wulai.
Yeah,
Wulai is also a village, or maybe a town. But a village is a place with a population between a few hundred and a few thousand people. So not more than maybe, I don't know, 10,000. 20,000. It depends. They're usually found in the countryside, so they're away from cities. Or if you have like a small community within a city, you can also call that a village, like Greenwich Village in New York or something like that. And then the bigger version of a village is a town. Bigger than a town is a city. Bigger than a city is a metropolitan area. So New Taipei City and Taipei City together are the Taipei metropolitan area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two cities there.
That's right. And an example sentence is, the people living in this village are mainly farmers and food sellers, and their families have lived here for hundreds of years.
That's right. Villages are normally quite slow-moving, aren't they? So they normally have long traditions that have stayed for a long time.
Yes.
That happens in rural areas or remote areas. Two other good words that you can pick up there. Okay, so we also need to know what seafood is, because this seafood sauce, you said you couldn't have it. And why can't you have it?
Because it's food from the sea.
Yes, it's food from the sea. So fish, shrimp, shellfish, oysters, any animal that lives in the sea is counted as seafood. But I think there are some technically vegetarian things you could call seafood, like roe, fish eggs, for example. I guess it's still seafood.
Because they're usually taken out of the fish by killing it, so...
okay, so they're not okay.
Yeah, no.
So vegetarians can't eat seafood then, it turns out. Although if you are a vegetarian that eats seafood, you can call yourself a pescatarian.
Yes, because pesque means fish.
Yes.
Yeah. But also I've heard that oysters can be considered vegan. Some people make that argument. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay, yeah, for after the lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, so a seafood sauce, that's our last word in this sentence. Lots of vocab here. A sauce is a noun, and it's a thick type of liquid that we eat together with certain foods. One of the most famous sauces in the world is ketchup, that's 番茄酱, which I love to squeeze all over my French fries. Or in the UK, fun fact, we don't call them French fries. We call them chips.
Yes.
And we call chips crisps.
Yes.
But...
And what do you call crisps? I don't think there's anything that Americans call crisps.
Yeah.
So. All right.
The UK and US have lots of differences when it comes to food names. Anyway, but back to sauces. There are lots of different kinds. They're not just tomato sauces or ketchups. We could also have salty sauces or sweet sauces or spicy sauces. That's very common in Taiwan. Almost every restaurant table you sit down at has some 辣椒酱.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
spicy sauce to put on your food and make it a little bit hot.
Or soy sauce.
Or soy sauce as well.
Yeah.
Soy sauce as well. So there are some other verbs we can use with sauce as well. We can spread a sauce on something if we're using a knife and we're kind of pushing it over some bread or pushing it over a flat kind of food.
Right.
Or we could pour it over something. What else could we do? We could...
mix it with something like pasta sauce.
We could mix it or we could dip it. Like I said with the fries, you would dip your fries in a sauce. Okay, so our example sentence is a fun one. It is, Kevin is so weird. He doesn't dip his fries in tomato sauce. He likes to dip them in his milkshake.
I do that.
What?
Yeah?
No.
Yeah, I do.
No, why? You can't do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
That is... Ugh.
Because, okay, potatoes don't have much of a taste. So when you fry them, you just get the taste of the fryer. But then when you combine that kind of oily and nice salty taste with like a sweet chocolate milkshake, it's so good.
You want to know something weird that my sister dips her Doritos in?
Mayonnaise?
Chocolate fountain.
What?
Yeah, that's a weird one, right?
Okay, yeah, that is weird.
Cheesy Doritos in a chocolate fountain.
Interesting.
Anyway, back to our story, and it seems like our journey is going to end in one of my favorite French cities, actually.
Okay.
Our journey reaches its end in Nice. So,
Nice.
Yes, so reach its end, by the way, means to come to its end, to finish.
Yes.
So our journey finishes in Nice.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not nice. I know the word is spelled the same as nice, but
Yes.
it is Nice.
Because it is a French word.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So we've traveled all the way down now. We started in Normandy and we went boop, 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 all the way down across the country to southeastern France.
Okay.
And we're going to find a little bit more about that now, it seems.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. So about Nice, this lovely Mediterranean city is known for its sunny beaches, but also one of France's best known side dishes. Okay, so Mediterranean, first of all, what is a Mediterranean city? Well, Mediterranean is actually from the words medi, middle, and terra, which is earth. So the middle of the earth, and it's the sea that is between Europe and North Africa and West Asia. So it includes Mediterranean countries are any countries that are on the border with the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
So it includes like Spain, France, Italy, Croatia, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Tunisia, some other ones.
Some others. Greece.
Yes, Greece
Yeah,
and
Greece.
Cyprus, which you talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
And it has very beautiful seaside, and it's known for its great weather, and it's known for having olive trees, mostly along
Yes.
all the coasts of the Mediterranean countries.
Yes, yes. Lots and lots of olives. It's known for those, and that means that it's famous for them,
Right,
basically.
the same thing is famous for.
Yeah, same as famous for.
Right.
So, our article continues, a good niçoise salad tastes like summer and is prepared with tomatoes, boiled eggs, olives, and salty local fish. Okay, so you did say they have lots of olives. I see what they're doing with the olives now. They're putting them in their niçoise salad, which is our fourth food item on this journey.
Right.
But what is happening to the eggs? Well, they are being boiled. And when we boil an egg, that's a verb, we heat it up until it is extremely hot and starts to bubble. I'm sorry, I meant to say when we boil a liquid, when we boil water, we make it bubble. Eggs don't bubble. So we boil water, we heat the water up, and then we make it bubble because it's extremely hot. That means you can't put your hand in it.
Yeah, please
Because
don't.
you would burn your hand or you would scald your hand, we could also say.
Ouch.
If you like drinking tea like I do, though, then you'll know that you have to boil the water before you pour it over the tea leaves to make your tea.
That's right.
Yes, you can also boil eggs like in the article or boil noodles to make them ready to eat.
So you don't only have to boil the water, you can also boil the things in it.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I say I'm boiling an egg, I'm not heating the egg on its own. I'm heating the water up till it's very hot, and then I'm putting the egg in the hot water so that the egg becomes cooked.
So you're putting something in boiling water to cook it.
Yes.
You're boiling it.
That's a great way of putting it.
All right.
So there's other words we can use which are similar to boiling. We could talk about simmering something. When we simmer something, we boil water until it's very hot and then lower the temperature so it's not too hot. So it's just kind of lightly bubbling.
Yeah, very small bubbles.
Small bubbles, and we can cook something gently that way. Or we can steam something, which is where we use the hot moist air that comes out of the water to cook some food.
Right.
So our example sentence for boil is, Tina boiled the spaghetti for far too long. Now it doesn't taste right.
Oh, it would be too soft.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So actually in the article it is used as an adjective though. We can see that sometimes when we put verbs in past tense, we can use the past participle as an adjective. So
That's
a boiled egg or a fried egg, those are both two verbs which have been turned into adjectives.
Right.
Yes.
Or cooked egg or baked egg or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So then they also say that they use olives, which are those... they grow on trees. They're a fruit, but they don't taste sweet. They can be like green or black, and they're usually pretty oily. They also make olive oil out of olives a lot, which is just pressed olives made into oil. And then we have the last ingredient, which is salty local fish. So salty is our last vocab word of the day. It's an adjective that means having the taste of salt. So something like the sea. If you've ever had seawater in your mouth, ugh, yuck. That is a salty taste, but that is too salty. It's a pretty strong taste, and it makes food more interesting. So like chips are usually salty, or seaweed is usually very salty.
Right.
One of my favorite salty foods is salted egg chips.
Oh, I love salted egg.
Yes, salted egg is so good.
Yes.
And popcorn is also salty, and you could even have a salty smell, like the smell of the ocean when you're close to the beach.
Right, when you're taking a walk by the sea,
right.
You have that fresh air in your face. You've got a salty smell coming out from the sea.
Right.
Okay.
So our example sentence of this is, this egg salad needs a little more salty flavor to make it interesting. So we need to add a little more salt. Okay, in our last couple of lines of the article, we're still talking about this salade niçoise or niçoise salad. For a long time in its hometown of Nice, it was simply called salad by locals.
Yes. The article says, this is because the French word niçoise means from Nice.
Right, of course.
So a niçoise salad is just a Nice salad. And if you're in Nice, you don't need to say that it's a Nice salad.
Right, because you're in Nice.
Yeah, of course. So unfortunately, we've now traveled all the way across one of the world's best food countries, which means it's time for us to say goodbye, but not before we take a look at our For You chat.
For You chat.
Okay, so we are going to talk about some of the local specialities in our countries and our hometowns. So our question is, what are some of the local specialities where you are from? Have you seen people eating them in other places?
Okay, well, the local specialty from my state is one that everybody in the world eats in some form or another, and it's potatoes.
Really?
Yes.
Lots of potatoes from Idaho.
Oh, yes. Idaho is known informally as the potato state.
Okay.
Because we grow a lot of potatoes, but we don't usually get to eat our own because they go to other places around the world. So you'll often see, like, even I remember in Japan, they even had an Idaho burger one time, which had a potato patty on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't excite me so much.
You know.
Potato between two pieces of bread sounds a little bit
with the beef.
Boring.
With the beef.
Oh, okay, with the beef.
Yeah.
Okay, so my hometown has a speciality. I'm going to ask you to read it for me, though. I've got it on a piece of paper in front of you.
Should I read it wrong or should I read it right?
Read it how you think it should be read.
Worcester.
You got it right. No one gets it right.
I know how to say Worcester.
Okay, yes. Well, yes. I am from Worcester in the UK, and it's famous for Worcester sauce, which is consumed pretty much all over the world as well. But it's often mispronounced. People call it Worcester
or Worcestershire.
Yes. But it is Worcester, and it's a weird sauce that was invented by mistake, actually, by two old men who were trying to make an alcohol or a medicine, I can't remember which one it was. And they had some stuff in these wooden barrels, and they tasted it to see how the drink was, and it was disgusting. So they left it in their cellar down under their house for a really long time and forgot about it. Oh. And maybe 3 or 4 years later, they were clearing out their cellar and they found this barrel and they tasted it again. They're like, oh, this is a really good sauce.
Why would you taste something that was that old, though?
I don't know. It was the 1800s, I think. People did what
People
they did.
Yeah.
So Worcester sauce is eaten everywhere. It's eaten in China as well and in Taiwan and
I have some
obviously
in my
in
fridge.
the UK.
Yeah.
Yes, I have plenty of it at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for you guys to talk about what are some foods in Taiwan that are special or in your hometowns in Taiwan that are special, and do people eat them differently, or where have you seen them elsewhere in the world? But for English for You, it's time for us to go and eat because I'm starving.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm Seb.
I'm Kat.
And we're saying goodbye.
Bye-bye.
A French food journey. Lyon. Quenelle de Brochet. Travel east, deep into the center of southern France, and we find ourselves in Lyon. This city is famous internationally for its wine, which is produced on the banks of the lazy Rhône River. However, ask any local what you should try here, and they'll tell you the same thing. Quenelle de Brochet. These creamy dumplings are made by combining butter, eggs, milk, and fish caught fresh from any of Lyon's many lakes. The best of the best can be found in the village of Nantua, where they are served with a delicious seafood sauce. Nice, Niçoise salad. Our journey reaches its end in Nice. This lovely Mediterranean city is known for its sunny beaches, but also one of France's best-known side dishes. A good Niçoise salad tastes like summer and is prepared with tomatoes, boiled eggs, olives, and salty local fish. For a long time, in its hometown of Nice, it was simply called salad by locals. This is because the French word niçois means from Nice.
Vocabulary Review.
Internationally. Jenny found a good job in Australia because she went to a university that is well known internationally. Combine. To make French toast, you first need to combine the eggs, milk, and sugar. Village. Helen took the train far out of the city until she reached the village where her grandmother lived. Sauce. Arnold loves making pasta covered with beef, mushrooms, and a thick tomato sauce. Boil. Jimmy realized that the chicken cooked more quickly when he boiled it in water. Salty. Fred poured too much soy sauce over the fish and ruined the dish with the salty taste.
智慧小补帖
Creamy. Dumpling. Seafood. Olive.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net